Oh, goody, we gonna get a story. Tell Larry a good story. But don't tell me about the stupid Petro rabbits. That's Grimlock's favorite, not mine. I want to hear something different. What do you got? Anything?
Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. Once again, we're looking at another character featured in Transformers the movie. This time around, we have the Titans Return release of Kup. Of course, likely for trademark reasons, Kup has been renamed as Sergeant Kup. And his Titanmaster partner up here is called Flintlock. As in the old style flintlock pistols that were used several hundred years ago. Now, in the old Generation 1 lore, Flintlock was called Recoil. But either way, they're still intended to be the same character. Recoil, or Flintlock, however you want to call him, is a Nebulon character who played Prisma Ball in his younger days. But now that he's apparently getting pretty old, he joined up in the Nebulon Resistance to fight off the Hive and their allies, the Decepticons. And he ended up becoming Kup's partner as a Targetmaster. The two of them got along pretty well due to the fact that they were both a pair of old veterans of either the war, in the case of Kup, or professional sports, in the case of Flintlock. And they both, while they're totally over the hill and too old for what they do, they certainly want to go out and show the young people that they still have it. And all the while, talk about their glory days. Kind of sounds like at least one American football player, too, doesn't it? But at any rate, just like last week with with Hot Rod, Kup here can have his partner removed as an added accessory. We'll go ahead and get Recoil. We'll go ahead and get Flintlock over with here on his articulation while we got him. His head turns from side to side. Unfortunately, it does not have. It does have some give, but it more rocks to the side than looks up and down. His arms can be moved out to the sides. Only about so far. And they bend only up to about 45. Oh, no, he can. Flintlock can go full 90 degrees. Go full straight up, so you can put him as I surrender or touchdown if you want to be a referee. His legs are molded together, so when you move him at the hip, both legs come together, and he has double jointed knees. And boy, doing that looked painful. Try and get him back in as best we can. Mine's not in the best of condition, so it likes to fight with me more than plug back in. You just got to be real precise, but it's still not going to go in. Alright. And then otherwise, accessory-wise, Kup includes 2 small blasters. They're hollowed out on the one side. So that way, he, like all the others that were sold at this scale, you can merge the guns together and they form a turret gun. Which, of course, Flintlock here can be positioned in, and he can ride in it. He mostly connects to those little posts there by the gun barrels. So you would basically line up the holes on his feet to plug him in. Or at least that's how he's supposed to work. Again, on mine, it's not the best. But he sits in there pretty snugly. I stand corrected, he doesn't. But this feature on Kup is kind of worthless, and we'll show you why a little later on. At any rate, we'll look at Kup's articulation, and if you saw Hot Rod's video last week, you'll know the head can turn from side to side a bit. You can raise his arms out to the side about so far, and you can rotate the arm all the way around at the shoulder. Kup features double jointed elbows. So you get that, but that's the... And he does have a swivel at the bicep. So Kup can do some G.I. Joe battle grip. Kup can be twisted at his hips, so I guess he knows some old style dance moves. You can spread his legs apart and do a full splits. He does have a good thigh cut going. You can raise his leg at the hip 90 degrees, and you can bend his leg at the knee 90 degrees. So, all in all, he has the standard articulation. Although I hope people aren't out there in the comments going that I've got a decapitated Kup. That happened to a guy I knew a long time ago. He had the license to release the classic Ultraman series back on VHS. And for a display at one of the local bookstores, he had a special head made up to resemble Ultraman's helmet. Some kid in the store saw it and thought that he had decapitated a Power Ranger. Oh, the days. Alright, we're going to transform Kup, and thanks to Larry nearby nagging at me, we're going to try to do it right this time. You don't need to remind me that I'm getting old, Larry. I know it myself. Because after all, just the other day, I saw the trailer for the one-night showing of Transformers the movie. And seeing as I'm older than that, I don't need that to help remind me. At any rate, to transform Kup, we start by shifting his hands out to the side like so. And then take advantage of his double-jointed elbows. Fold his arms up like so. As you can see right there next to his fist, there is a little hole. And it will line up with that post on his shoulder. Should get a satisfying snap when you've put them in. Then you rotate the arms like so that the fists are up top like that. And then you'll fold the arms at the shoulders inwards. You'll see here the shoulders have a little protrusion tab, and they will line up with these holes here, just in front of the connection point for his head. Get them in there just like that. And now we open up the canopy here on his chest. And then you will fold the body backwards. Like so. And close the canopy up. So we can fold the body up like that. But it also folds outward like so. But we're also going to rotate it around like that. And then that way everything can be folded downwards. You then come down here to his legs, fold the feet so they go inside. Then we will raise up these covers here, like so. And then we piece apart his legs, like that. Come down here beneath him and you can fold these out to free the wheels. Then we will start by folding these sections. We'll shift the legs a bit, but do that so that these covers can go inside like this. And they do connect together. The main part is to make sure you got the truck cab on straight, because the legs fold over and there are some holes and slots along the sides that they should line up and connect into. Then of course, once you've done that, we can fold up these sections here at the back. Make sure everything is pressed together. And then there you have it. Kup is in his alternate mode of a Cybertronian pickup truck. And yes, there's been numerous jokes done about it, the origin of his name and the alternate mode. We're not going to cover those. I mean, we know a bad joke when we see one. And just like with Hot Rod last week, we can open up the canopy here. And there's room in here for Flintlock to sit inside. So you just line him up and adjust the legs as best you can, because you really don't get a whole lot of room. And then you close it down. And he's in there. Problem is that he really doesn't sit in there very well. As you can see, slight rattling, and he's flipped out of his seat. I guess he needs a seat belt. And of course, we can attach the guns along the sides here. But again, that puts his guns right there at the wheels, so they're in a prime position to catch debris. However, we can remove them and mount them in the truck bed, just like his old G1 Targetmaster. The problem is the spacing on them. As you can see, we can't merge the gun. You cannot merge the gun. Now, I mean, of course, you can try to connect them and see how they fit in. We'll do that here to show you how that works out. You can get it in all right, but it's not as snug when it's done that way. Whereas if you can get them both in, they're in very snug and they're not going to come out easily. All in all, it's meh. What can I say? So we get to my thoughts on Sergeant Kup. And again, like I mentioned earlier, he's meh. The figure's not too bad. I mean, it has its ups and it has its downs, but it's not too terribly bad. My biggest gripe is really connecting Flintlock onto the body is a pain. I don't know if this is a common thing amongst all Kups or even all Titan Masters of this scale, but it is an issue and it can negatively impact how one interacts with the toy. The truck mode, it's alright for an updated version of the Generation 1 truck, but it still looks pretty small. Of course, that could be just a gripe I have, but I still think it looks a little on the small side. Plus, I also don't like the fact, you can't turn the guns into the turret like you could with Hot Rod. And it's a common gripe that Flintlock doesn't stay seated very well in the cockpit due to all the room he has. So it's a side effect of the design, and unfortunately it just leaves it kind of on the meh side. Oh well, what can we say? Some are good, some are meh, and some are terrible. I think some of you may say this one's terrible too. I'm not too far off on agreeing with you on that. At any rate, that's my review of the Titans Return version of Sergeant Kup. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please do remember that if you love the content we feature here on this channel, Larry and I would definitely appreciate some likes, shares, comments, and subscriptions. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.